Welcome back to the channel. So today my video is going to be focused on showing you how to disassemble a Miele C3 canister vacuum cleaner for the purpose of cleaning it, and then I will show you how to put it all back together properly. Now, first thing is, if you saw in the thumbnail, you saw the picture of the inside of the dust container. You saw the picture of the inside of the bag compartment, and it was super filthy. Now, if that's you, if this is your situation, then you're likely going to want to clean it, and you may even want to bring it in for someone else to service it. But if you want to try to tackle it yourself, then I'm going to show you how to do it properly. But the first thing is, I want to show everyone why, most likely why they had this happen. These Mieles are designed in such a way that when the door opens, the bag actually pops out. Okay, so if you notice here, I actually clicked it in before I closed the door. Then I closed the door and it creates a perfect seal. And then when I open it, it actually pops the bag out. The reason people are having problems is that they open the door, maybe for a reason other than changing the bag, to check the filter or the pre-filter or the post-filter, and it pops out and they do not notice that it pops out, and then they close it. And I can close it right now and I can force it shut, but you can see here that the bag is not sealed anymore. And in that condition, this vacuum will suck up dirt but not go into the bag, and it will just fill this whole compartment. So you must understand that when you're installing your bag on your C3, anytime you open this compartment door, I've seen some that don't do it, but generally they all do this. Always check to make sure before you close this door that your bag is properly locked in. It probably does help that you're using genuine bags. Miele obviously is going to tell you that. And I'm a big fan of the Miele bags. I think they are better than the replacement bags, and I think they do create a better seal. So that is still my recommendation. But if you want to use the aftermarket bags, then you can do that at your own decision. It's your vacuum. Now, you're going to want to plan on replacing the HEPA filter. If you opened up this canister and it was filthy like that, then you're going to want to plan on replacing the HEPA filter. This customer brought it in already replaced. All right, so follow along and I'm going to show you how to take this machine apart. First thing that we're going to do is we do need to remove this bag door. Okay, you can also just peel this out. This is the final, really it's more of a diffuser because your final filter is here, so it more just helps it to be quieter. But this should be clean. These filters really do an excellent job at keeping any dust from getting past. So this should be perfectly clean even if you did suck dirt in your motor. In order to remove the bag compartment, I'm just going to grab here, and I'm going to be, as I'm sort of rotating, I'm lifting up and I'm rotating backwards. Okay, and that pops out like that. All right. Now, when I wash this assembly, if you're careful, and I don't recommend submerging this part, because this does have an electrical connection. Now you can get all of that out. You can take apart and take these screws out. We can remove that all of this wire assembly, and you can submerge these parts. But personally, I don't think it's worth the extra time. So I'll show you how I clean it, and it's always been giving me very professional results. And so that's my recommendation. The benefits of the extra time that it takes to take this apart really isn't going to give you that much of extra clean results. So I'll show you how to do that. Once we've got the bag cover off, now we're going to have this area here, and we're going to start removing the Torx screws. And this is going to be a Torx T20 screw. And so we're going to start taking those out. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to pop these buttons out, and you can use like a small little plastic tool like this to pry these out like that. Just stick it in here and then just just gently pop it up, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to squeeze these together in order to pop this out. Okay, once you've got one out, you can kind of get it from the inside here. And now we have 2 more screws to take out, so we'll go ahead and remove those. Now from here, we're actually going to pop this blue cover off. Now the way I like to take it off is I like to stick my thumb right under here and just lift up, and there's actually 2 clips. Okay, and then from there we can just start lifting it up, and it will kind of lift up from towards the front and lift out of place. All right, and then don't forget to take your screws out. And we can take this little bag dock off just by kind of flexing it a little bit, and you can remove those posts, and we can clean that separately. All right, so because we already took this screw out, then we can lift up this bumper, and this just lifts up. Usually this bumper is not dirty at all because it's outside of the sealed system, but you can wipe it off if you want to. I usually don't submerge that. Okay, from here, there's 1 more screw that's revealed right in this spot here. And so we're going to take that out. All right, so now that we've got that screw out, we're going to work on getting this speed control assembly up. So there's a small clip here on the side that you can get up, and I just like to start kind of working it up very slowly around each side, and then I'll flip it over and just very gently start getting it up. And it's already starting to come out of place here. Now this actually presses down, and there's some electrical contacts that push down into there. So that's what you're going to feel. You're going to feel that release, and then you can pull it out of place. And this has a control board in there, so we're not going to get this wet. We're not going to submerge it. You can just wipe this off to clean it. All right, from here, the motor cover is going to lift up out of place. This is going to pop out a little bit. Now these can come off as one piece, sort of, and then they can come off as 2 pieces. But it clips right here and here, and I usually don't take them apart because you can put it back on pretty easily. Now on this side here, we have the inside sound suppression for the motor compartment. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to clean that. All right, now we've got our motor, and then what is really cool is this motor compartment contained everything. Now, and it didn't leak out of the machine. You can see the difference, and you can actually see around here where the seal is. So Miele's are one of the most sealed, or they are the best sealed systems. So even though this did have a problem, it did keep it contained in the vacuum itself, and none of it leaked out. And again, we can see that based off of the very final filter is completely clean. I just touched it and it got a little dirty. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove this plug, and then just wiggle it a little bit and pull it out, and then we can lift this motor out of place. You can also pull this rubber gasket out, and you can wash that, and then you can also pull this out here and wash that. Okay, and now the final thing we're going to remove is going to be the cord retractor. So there's a small little clip here on the side, and then you just release that clip, and then you can lift the whole cord retractor out, and we can set that aside. I'm not going to get that wet either. It's actually perfectly clean. And then this gasket does lift out of place. I usually remove it just to clean it a little easier, and also under it. And then this is also the bottom side sound suppression for the motor. We're going to clean that as well. Now this is really the key to cleaning these parts really well. I just use Dawn dish soap and this brush to clean most all of the parts, except for obviously I'm not brushing this, but this is going to be soaked and then rinsed really good with soap. And this brush will give you really good results for cleaning your parts. It's going to be able to get in all the little corners and crevices, all the little hard to reach areas. Now, with this particular part, I'm going to take, I have some dish soap just in like a squirt bottle kind of thing, and I'm just going to spray it and clean it and then just lightly rinse it to get all the suds off and then set it out to dry. On this side, you can get inside of here with a small little toothbrush or something and clean that, and then just wipe this down outside. So I don't like to submerge this part. The rest of everything else you can submerge. Obviously, you don't want to submerge the motor, and I'll talk about how to clean that. All right, now, so depending on how bad your motor is, you may want to do one extra step, and that would be removing the fan cover in order to use compressed air to blow this motor out really good. So I'm actually going to do that on this motor because it is pretty dirty in the inside, and you can look on the inside of the fan and just see how impacted are the fans. So you can see there's a gap right there, and I can just stick my screwdriver there and start working it around. And there it came off. So that way I can use my air compressor and I can clean this fan really good. You can even spray it with like Windex, because Windex evaporates. You can spray it with some Windex and blow it out really good too, and that will get this motor nice and clean. All right, so I just finished cleaning this motor. I blew it out. I sprayed a little bit of Windex in here and blew this out with the air compressor. Now, I do caution you, if you're going to remove this, if you drop this motor and it bends this fan even slightly, it's going to make noise and you could potentially have to replace the motor. You can see the very intake of the fan actually curls up and it goes very close to the intake of this cover. And so the very slightest amount of play there, if the fan got bent, is going to affect how this motor runs. So if you damage this motor in any way, you have to be very careful with it. So when you're putting that back on, I'm just going to very carefully each way, very carefully squeeze it down, and then just check to make sure there's no gaps all the way around. Okay, and then just set this motor aside until you've finished cleaning your parts, and then we can reinstall everything. All right, so we're back here, and all of the parts have been sufficiently cleaned and sufficiently dried, and so we're ready to put it all back together. All right, so you're going to get your base here, and you're also going to get this sound suppression part that looks like this, and make sure that it's in this position, these little points facing this way, and then this little curved cutout section over here, and we're just going to lower it down in place there, and it's going to start to fold in place. And then these little points tuck in right around where that motor intake is, just like that. And then everything else is just going to kind of tuck down in place, and you should be able to see how it fits in from there. Next, we're going to grab the motor compartment gasket, and we're just going to slide this in place. Pretty straightforward. Next, we can get our motor, and we're going to put our rubber front gasket on here, and then with the plug side facing upwards here, we're going to install the rear support, and we're going to install it like that. So that's what your motor is going to look like. Plug is here, and those little two brackets pointing downwards. And then from there, you're going to grab that motor and you're going to slide it right down, just like that. Okay, next we can go ahead and install our quarter retractor. And what you're going to be looking for is that the retractor, the wire for the retractor is going to set right in here. So that's what you're looking for on the left side. And then on the right side, you're going to be dropping this little post into this receiver. And then you also have this little part here that's going to be dropping right over this screw post. Okay, so you're going to just lower it in nice and slowly and just make sure everything is guided in to its proper spot. All right, so you see the cord is seated properly. We've got this part here seated properly over there, and then we've also got the post seated properly, and then it did click. There we go. It's now clicked in place here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and plug this wire back in to the motor. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our motor cover, and we have to flip it over and install the gasketing for this one. And then this one is going to go like this. So you've got kind of these little fingers sticking out here. You've got the curved cutout section here, and then you've got a cutout here. That's where it's going to go around the filter. So we're going to slide it in just like this. So those fingers are going to go in just like that.
And you can tuck it in back behind there.
And then on this side, just make sure it's tucked back there, right there. And then this side's tucked in there. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to go ahead and install this motor cover. And we're just going to be slowly, it may be easier if you pull the cord out and then pull the cord through the hole. And then as you're dropping it in, that plug doesn't get in the way. Okay, so as you can see, it takes a little bit of just finagling it until you get it to kind of drop in place there. And you want to just check around the sides here. You shouldn't see any major gaps. So that is fine. That little gap is normal. It'll tighten down with the screws. And on the other side, that type of gap is fine as well. It'll tighten down with the screws. So we can just go ahead and pop in this one screw right here. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to install our control board assembly, and then we're going to put in that screw over on this side. So you're going to look at this section here is where you're going to be looking to line it up, and it is going to just drop right down in there like that. There's a channel that this is going to slide into, and so you just have to pay attention that this is properly sliding into this receiver here. And then you're just going to push firmly because we've got those plugs that need to plug in. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to install this screw right here. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the bumper, and we can go ahead and install the bumper. It kind of just falls into place pretty easily. And then we can go ahead and put this screw in. Along with this one as well. We can go ahead and put that one in as well. Okay, so next we can get our blue cover, and we can go ahead and lower it down on top. And you're just going to be watching to see if it fits. It should be pushing right inside of this bumper. The bumper kind of receives it into itself. See that? On both sides. So you're going to see the blue section just pop in there. You're going to push that in first, and then we're going to push nice and firmly, and you're going to hear it pop. Same with this side. We're going to push it in under the bumper first. Okay, and then we're going to pop it in. It actually popped in at the same time, so that's good. Then we're just going to do our last 4 screws. All right, then we got to install our bag holder adapter. So you can kind of slightly flex it, but you want to get this spring in behind this section here. So we're going to kind of put the spring in first, and then we're going to make sure that's in there, and then make sure it's springing up. If it's not springing up, then you just need to bend this slightly towards the front, and that will give it the spring that it needs in order to always pop up. So that's what keeps the bag door from closing if there's no bag inside of it. All right, now let's get our buttons here. We've got our power button, and we're going to put it on this side. Just pop it in like that. And our cord retractor button, just like that. Go ahead and test your cord retractor function, and then you can go ahead and plug the machine in at this point and just make sure it works. All right, we're getting close. We're almost done. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your new HEPA filter, pop that in place there, and we're going to take our bag door, and then we're going to, just in reverse, we're going to hinge it inward. So I'm going to see if I can get this on camera. So we're going to go like this, and then and it just slides in there and pops in there. And then your bag door is closing. And then don't forget to install this little black filter here. Again, and this one serves more as a sound suppression than a filter. All right, and then you're going to install your bag and your pre-filter, and then you are good to go. If this video was valuable to you and you would like to say thank you in the form of a tip, I'm going to leave my Venmo in the description, but also there's the super thanks at the bottom on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the channel if you would like to buy a vacuum from me. You can get in touch with me from my website or from my phone number directly. All right, thanks. Have a great day.